We've had a great question on the Facebook group of Gavin Taylor. And he said, there was an interesting story on Reddit, which I'm going to come on to, of a person shooting 278 over 18 holes.
I'm sorry. Listen, I didn't realise it was ever going to get out. It was a practice round. 278?
Yes. In Germany, a golfer has to shoot 108 or lower to get a golf licence in order to play on most courses. So, here we go. What are your thoughts on a maximum score which starts to impact other players on a golf course? Should there be a cap or a limit on skill level or achievable score before someone plays a full 18 on a regular course? So, before you answer that, Rick, let me read the post off Reddit. I found it. It's from a user on Reddit, and it's titled, Played with someone today who shot 278 over 18 holes. And it says, I left work early today to play 18 holes at my local course.
3 days later, I got back.
Walked to the first tee and was greeted by a man in his early 30s and asked me if I'd play with him as it was his first time on the golf course. He also wanted me to count his strokes and help him with rulings and so on. It was the worst round of golf I have ever seen someone play. 15 strokes on average per hole, and he scored a 21 on a long par 3. The course was empty, so we had enough time. The round lasted 6.5 hours. I know how he feels. Nicest guy I've ever met, but felt I felt kind of sorry for him as he tried so hard and nothing worked. I even gave him some advice regarding club selection and keeping his driver in the bag. I shot 94. And every decent shot I hit made his jaw drop, and it says in brackets, I'm talking like a 220-yard drive, nothing special. So, then we had a quick... Then before, again, you answer that. So, in Germany, there is such thing as a golf licence.
Yeah.
Which, as the guy alluded to in the question, and the question was from Gavin Taylor, a golf licence is something that you have to have apparently legally to play golf in Germany, which is crazy.
I have heard this. Albeit I have played golf in Germany and never been asked for a licence.
Well, yeah, you've got your provisional. You shot 109 ones, didn't you? But that was when your kids moved the tees forward. Doesn't really count. So you've got to shoot 108 or lower over 18 holes. And apparently, to get a license, you have to pay at least $300 for a 5-day membership. You have to have several hours of training. You've got to do a series of tests. Now, there was actually a really good video that Eric Anders Lang did on this about the golf handicapping, golf license in Germany. Apparently it came into play over 40 years ago. There's no other country in Europe asks for a license. Apparently it's a 2-part test. There's a written test and there's a hands-on test. The hands-on test takes you to a golf course where you must prove your driving, putting and chipping skills, and then join a pro to play 18 holes with 108 shots or less. The written test is about the rules of golf. If you miss 6 out of the 30 questions, you failed. And obviously the test is in German as well. So if we went over there to live in Germany, it's all done in German. But yeah, so there's kind of 2 parts to that question, really, Rick. Do you agree with the golf license concept that Germany have? And do you think there should be a maximum score limit, etc., on golf courses?
It's a really, really, really tough one, because as much as I absolutely don't advocate the license at all, I think it's a ridiculous idea. I do think there should be some level of guidance before players can go out on the golf course, and that's for the enjoyment of themselves and for others, and the safety of themselves and for others. Because realistically, how do you really learn how to play golf? True. We were young when we did it, and we would have been told by older people how to play. But like, if you were in your 30s and you went to the golf course, who teaches you? How do you know where to stand? How do you know where to put your trolley? How do you know, the silly thing? How do you know how to rake a bunker or do a pitch mark or repair a divot?
Well, you don't, and that's the thing. And I think when you see a score like 278, your first thought is, oh my word.
I'm almost even just getting rid of that for the time being and thinking just about the actual etiquette.
You've got no idea. That comes after.
It's hard, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So as much I don't believe in the license, because I think in Germany that must massively restrict participation level.
You think so?
But I do think you need some level of guidance, because I remember the skiing story that I did. So I went to the Chill Factor, which is just around the corner from us, this big ski slope, and it very clearly said you must have had lessons before you go and ski.
I got turned away because I admit
you must do, right? Well, I didn't admit I hadn't. So I went on YouTube and watched a quick 5-minute video on how to ski and thought I knew everything. It took me about 25 minutes to put my boots on, right? How I got through the gates, I don't know. And I got to the stair lift. I'd never used a stair lift before. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? In fact, I was snowboarding. I wasn't skiing, I was snowboarding. And I put the thing in between my legs, the seat, right? Sat with my board running perpendicular to the slope.
90 degrees.
And the board literally dragged me down. I had to let go and I fell flat on my face. And at that point, I should have been kicked out.
Yeah.
It's a health and safety. I shouldn't have been allowed on that slope. I blagged it. So I'd never done snowboarding before. Normally, I had been doing snowboarding before. But normally, if I do, I get the chairs. I don't get the thing between my legs, right? So I managed to blag it. But I was a health and safety hazard to everybody else on that ski slope, right? I blagged it and I made it work and I got through it. But to some degree, like, in golf, that's really hard to do, like just completely blag it and go and play 18 holes of golf. And, and you do end up sacrificing other people's enjoyment.
But even then, when you said blag it, the key difference is you got asked or there was a clear sign that you have to have lessons before you go. I have never, other than a golf course with a handicap limit, which you sometimes see, I have never been on the first tee and seen anybody say, have you played golf before? No. And if you think about it, the score of 278, I've lost a few balls. But think about, this is what I was thinking about the score. When you see that of 278, at first it sounds ridiculous, which it kind of is. It's very, very high. But equally, if you think about it, when you go to the driving range and you often see someone who's clearly never played golf before, and they're either with friends who also have never played golf before, or they're with friends who have, it's not uncommon to see somebody go, shot, shot, tap it a foot.
I can't imagine that's even including air shots.
Oh, no, it probably isn't doing. But what I'm saying is, if that exact golf, normally, and not always the case, normally somebody would go to the range 1, 2, 3, a dozen times and then maybe step onto a course. However, if somebody's literally gone to the range once, bought set clubs and gone, right, my local golf course is there, I'm going to go and play, that 278 could very feasibly happen, couldn't it? It's not actually as crazy as it sounds.
I think most people understand that transition of going straight on the golf course isn't something you just do straight away.
Well, is that not why the license is perfect?
But I think that people already know. Like, I remember teaching loads of people. It's like, I've got a corporate day. I've never played golf before. Can you help me? I'm playing in like 6 months. It's like, okay, well, I can guide you to that level. They didn't need a particular license, but
where's that middle ground then?
But that's what I think there should be. So I actually don't mind the written test. Mm-hmm. Just that, even if it was a quick questionnaire before you go and play, where should you stand after you've played the hole? How do you rake a bunker? Blah blah. All these. I mean, challenging you on a written test, but I think those things, etiquette, rules. I just don't think from a playing standpoint you should get judged.
I don't disagree, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, but we obviously know that golf has a lot of potential barriers to entry. It's perception. It's potentially expensive. It can be seen to be expensive. The rules, the language, etc., are all very different to most sports. I might be wrong, but you don't need to go and do this for tennis or for badminton or for other sports, do you? So if golf suddenly says, right, we have to have some level of either test or I don't know what it looks like, but something, does that create a further barrier to entry?
There's already way too many barriers. 100%.
So what's the perfect scenario though in your mind? You've got the Shiels golf course. It's opened up in Manchester. How do you ensure that people playing it know what to do? The health and safety is all box ticks. How do you stop a young lad or girl coming from the range for the first ever time and then shooting 300 on the course and potentially not shouting 4 or not knowing what 4 means when it gets shouted at them, etc.?
How'd you do it?
Do you have a big touch screen and when you get to the first tee it's like a quick 5-minute rules? Is anyone going to watch that?
I mean, when my kids go to a trampoline park, they've got to watch a 5-minute safety video.
That's what I'm thinking.
And they've been loads of times, and they know it off by heart, but they still got to watch it every time.
Just don't listen to it.
I mean, is that way of doing it? I don't know. It's a challenge.
That's what I mean. Because the golf, the one in Germany seems very far-fetched, but I suppose the quality of golf on the golf course and the speed of play you would imagine would be much better potentially. But then equally having nothing could cause an issue. Maybe there needs to be some, I don't know what it is. That's the question we're posing, I guess, isn't it? What is that?
I think something on the first tee, which kind of a little 3-minute, hey, just a quick one. Don't forget to shout 4.
There's a lot to take in though, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Bunkers.
And where'd you start? Where would you start?
Shout 4 is a health and safety one. If someone shouts 4, duck. Or if you're going to hit someone, shout 4.
You could almost do a 3-minute health and safety one and a 3-minute bloody etiquette one.
Yeah, and then tips as well. How to get out of bunkers easier. There's a lot to unpack. I'd like to hear people's opinions on this, so feel free to comment down below on the YouTube video. What do you think?